Welcome to Wizard Team, a Black magical podcast for Black magical stories. Hi everyone, it's Robyn and Porshèa embarking on a journey through the many fantasy stories written by and about Black people. Currently we're reading Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Alston, and today we're discussing chapters 13 through 15.
But before we get into all of that, let's talk about what we got into previously on Wizard Team.
Bum, bum, bum.
First of all, Tristan shows up like he's somebody because he and Amari are both elites, and he feels now that he has something in common with her. Oh, she should know all about him. And this is just a first glimpse of what's going to be a tragic interaction overall. He's just a prelude to the elites being extra because whenever he and Amari have a discussion during this club fair, she asks when will the elites tent open, and he's like, oh, you'll know. And oh boy, does she know, because the elites do everything extra from showcasing who's elite within the crowd to actually making the elite tent open in a very extra way. Just theatrics and dramatics all over the place. And that does not stop when Amari gets in the tent. First, she's being, I can't say headhunted, she's being body hunted by Dr. Focus, who seems generally to be on the right introvert vibes, but it's just awful on the whole overall for why are you trying to hunt a freaking magician? It's a kid. You're trying to, I can't.
She said, what have you done for me lately?
If you're
get
not
on the table,
on my table,
let me study.
Probe your body and use a scalpel on you, then why are we talking?
More than likely she won't be hurt, so I don't understand the problem.
I can't. I can't.
Not 100% likely, but pretty sure.
I refuse.
A good 75%.
Not even asking for her parents' permission. I can't with Dr. Focus. I want to like Dr. Focus, but Director Focus, but I can't. It's too much. Also on that theatrics is Director Van Helsing, who is highly upset that he, a grown man, asked for and requested that on his in his list, you imagine, if you will, that you are an artist and you have a writer whenever you go somewhere, and that is part of your agreement and your terms and your contract to show up in that place. Director Van Helsing's writer, for showing up on the campaign and allowing Bane and Harlow to run around on not having an investigation on what happened at the World Congress, is I don't want Amari Peters to be in this magical space. That's what you did with your big adult body, was say I don't want this child, and I can't. So he's pissed about that. He takes Harlow to the side. Harlow and him start having a conversation outside of the tent. Amari eavesdrops. Because she is not a super spy, she gets caught out there, and they both look at her crazy, and Harlow seems to be directing attention to her that might be related to her secret ability. After that, the next day, Amari starts going to her classes, and lo and behold, who does she run into first but Tristan, and he's still on some crap. His first thing to do is, once the class commences, is to stop everything and low-key try to say, oh, I'm sorry about this, to Amari, while asking Agent Fiona why she is got the elite award or whatever when she doesn't qualify for that year. Little does he know that he's wrong. They explain to him how he's wrong, and now he has a problem, even though he pushed to be her partner. So now, because of all his craziness, Amari decides, oh, well, F you, I'm going to be partners with Laura.
When keeping it petty goes wrong.
The silence. Because why? Yes. So it's just a mess. And then Amari's still on this, because she's
the bully of my bully. Is my bully.
Know. But now, just because you made Laura your partner doesn't change who she is. So now that Laura is Amari's partner, Amari's brain automatically is well, I'm looking at my schedule and I see private tutoring on here. Maybe I should ask Laura what this means. After Agent Fiona stated explicitly to her multiple times It's top secret. Keep it to yourself. Luckily, Lara's gone, so that doesn't happen. But come on, Amari. Then Amari goes to her next class, current events, and the Agent Addison's ineptitude for running a class and keeping people on topic and actually like not putting a person who's already oppressed as the center of like in the middle of their oppression to explain their oppression to the oppressor. Like this is where we are, and sadly, that's the conversation that happens. But it does lead to Bear being useful even in the, amidst his freaking bigotry because he drops a clue and it leads Amari to be like, oh no, I gotta hit up Elsie. We gotta see if this is true. So she and Elsie go to the elite section of the library, which is amazing, wonderful. Please read it, that section, multiple times. Like what you wish your library experience would be every time you go to the library, it's there. And they find out that one, the Magical Congress was debating the civil rights of unwanteds, and both Harlow and Bane were scheduled to be there, but they are conspicuously absent whenever the Congress freezes. Secondly, that's what they learn, that's what they uncover. And then after they do that, they do that during lunchtime. Once lunchtime bell rings, they got to go. Amari's going to head to her private tutoring session. Lo and behold, who's there? It's Maria. This is the first time she and Amari get a discussion. They get to talk about training Amari to in her magicianhood and spells and stuff, but also how Amari needs to put trust in Maria as her brother's former partner to solve all the issues that Amari has with the league because Maria is technically an adult and Amari is nowhere near being an adult. And Amari's like, you know what? I'm going to trust in you, Van Helsing. And that's where we end last time on Wizard Team.
I like how all of a sudden Maria is like, when you're like, Amari puts her trust in Maria, it's like, I'm going to put my trust in you, Van Helsing. Porshèa will not let you forget. So far, Maria's decent. Yeah. Okay, so we start chapter 13 with Amari actually starting her lesson. And it's really just learning to concentrate. Maria lets her know that controlling your emotions is the key to controlling your magic. So it's really learning how to like focus, keep control of her emotions, understand her emotions, and then that's how she'll start being able to better control her magic. After the lesson, she heads back to the basically like homeroom, and she says like the last thing is like for dismissal. And as she's waiting for the rest of the junior agents to return from their last class, she decides that she's going to text Cosmo and let him know that she can't accept the crown and that he will have to talk to Maria from now on. And it's very much, for me, it's giving like, hi, Cosmo. I just wanted to remind you that I am a child. And in the face of the fact that I am a child, please refer all future discussion to this trusted adult.
Also, it's like above me now. Like, it's above me now. Like, you take that up with Maria.
With Maria.
Don't take nothing up with me.
I'm just letting you know that I'm going to say no, but all of the particulars you can work out with Maria. Maria will tell me what is like the most important thing for me to know because I am 13. Cosmo responds saying he's sorry too, and Amari wonders like what that means, but the junior agents start to trickle in from their supernatural ability class. And as they're, getting comfortable and like they're still basically sitting down and getting ready for like homeroom dismissal or whatever to start. Like no one, like Fiona hasn't really said much yet. There's a red alert and the lights are flashing and the monitors in the room are saying all senior agents and above, please come to the operations center. And they realize that Dylan has escaped from the sightless depths. And I'm like, Cosmo got that text and then like was like, all right, bet. Because it like no time passes. Like he's like, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm just wholly like.
So he already like he knew how to break him out. He didn't have to.
Yeah, like
He
because
was
he
ready.
hinted at that from the beginning. As soon as
Yeah,
he and Amari were in the house together and they were having a
yeah.
discussion, it was never like, oh, like you're the only option we have. He was like, oh no, it's between you and Dylan, but like technically you have the
You're not in
option.
jail, so you are technically our
No,
preferred.
because you bested Dylan,
Oh, right.
you have the option of taking the crown because you've already been in contest with him and bested him.
Yeah.
So you could just take the crown. But it's between you and Dylan. So there should be like a red alert that comes in your brain when he says, oh, it's between you and a guy who's currently in jail. And you're like, but he's currently in jail. And he's like, not bothered by that. That should be
But
a
again,
flag.
she's 13.
Okay.
She is a child, which
Okay.
also proves that she is not ready to take the crown
No.
because she does not think in her brain, in her sweet summer child brain, being not even in prison, in like a maximum security
Under
prison.
they
My
say they
dude
say
is in the
they
bottomless, the sightless depths.
they say buried like someone's gonna get buried underneath the jail. He's
He is
literally.
underneath everything in the supernatural. So I'm going to read this. Like I just did this whole, I took the whole quote. The
Mhm.
Sightless Steps is a place for the worst of the worst criminals, located miles underground in the pits of the Goblin King, deeper than the lowest level of the Bureau, and surrounded by all sorts of terrors. It's supposed to be even more secure than Blackstone Prison because it's more dangerous outside the jail than it is inside. One, who's this Goblin King? I want to know. In the pits
I
of
don't
the
know
Goblin
why
King?
in my brain the Goblin King is the Green Goblin, like he's William Defoe.
Yeah. I'm thinking David Bowie. But because isn't he the Goblin King in
Yeah, and
the
Pan's Labyrinth.
Labyrinth? Yeah, but there's also a Goblin King in the Mercy Thompson series. Hey, my first mention of Mercy. And I think his name's like Jake or something like that, but he's pretty dope. So I'm also kind of thinking him, but I don't know what he looks like. And in my brain, when I'm reading about Mercy Thompson's Goblin King, they all just look like David Bowie. But yeah, so located miles underground in the pits of the Goblin King. So Cosmo has to have this plan formulated, ready to go, tested out. Because there is no, like, he's on some Ocean's 11 shit. Like, he gets the text message and he's like, bet. And then 5 minutes later, Dylan is out.
He's not even on Ocean's 11. It's like he. I don't know that he is very like it was like, oh, like did he again? So let's for a second because this is me speculating on the real estate market and the supernatural world. No, Sasquatches. But here's my thing. If there is there's a mafia, whatever, there's a Sasquatch mafia for real estate, perhaps the Goblin King is in on it. And perhaps the Goblin King is linked to the Night Brothers. And so it ain't a thing or whatever to be a magician and get in and out of the sightless depths because like you know where the trap doors are because of the Goblin King.
Maybe. I mean, maybe he's easily bribed by a certain,
But like the other time I
he's
was
like,
like,
magicians are against the Bureau. Like, the Bureau's paying me a good chunk of money to use my pits, but that don't mean that I feel any sort of way about it. Like, go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
It kind of
But
gives
even
Mulder Frey
still,
in that kind of like
though,
instance.
then that means that before he gets this text from Amari, he's reached out to the Goblin King, he's paid
I'm
whatever
telling you,
bribe, he is ready
no.
to go.
What I'm saying is that the Night Brothers have always had plans to the Goblin King's lairs. Like they've already Cosmo didn't even have to like spring nothing for that. He already had the plans. He just had to hit a button. Boom, we good. Like I feel like it's something like that.
But I'm either way.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, he's already been in contact with Dylan because he doesn't have to go and be like, "Hey, Dylan, we're gonna break you." Dylan was ready to go.
Apprentice.
Yeah,
And so Vlad and Cosmo
and he knows about
was
the.
Vladimir's, and so they worked in like they already. I'm like
They all had the plan. It was like
so,
the go plan.
so I'm not
Dylan
trying to
just
be.
heard the
I wasn't.
word. and
I
said,
was
all
like
right,
being
bet.
unfair to Amari when I was saying she should have had a red flag whenever Cosmo was like, "Oh yeah, the other guy is like in jail, but like it's still a competition between the two of you." I was saying a red flag that she should have gotten was like she cannot trust Cosmo, because as soon as all that conversation that Cosmo was having with her was like, the world is set up in this way, and we're prepared for people who see the world in this way to be the people who lead this empire. And like he kept like low-key testing her to see how she would go along, as she wasn't doing vibing with him, and he was showing her to her face that he was like, that's not gonna work for me, bro. But like, all right, I mean, you technically have the ability to take the crown right now. Is it yes or no? And that's where we've been. And I that's the red flag I think Amari like should have got. I was like, don't trust Cosmo.
I mean, but I don't think that Amari trusts Cosmo so much as she trusts like humanity, that like he wouldn't like that wouldn't even be an option. Like
Yeah.
she is like weirded out by Cosmo and like suspicious of him, but she just never in her wildest imagination thought that that was something that he would do. And like for me, it's like I agree, like she should definitely have had that kind of in her mind because of like the things that he did say, and he wasn't like, oh, you know, it's you or nothing. It's you or the league falls apart. He's like, it's you or this boy in jail. This kid that you already bested. But like I still think it's just like it shows Amari's in two ways. It shows why Amari is the better choice than Dylan. And if you don't want the League of Magicians to be this evil henchman type of thing. And also shows why she's not ready, because her brain didn't even like, it's not even in the realm of possibility.
But it's not fair to her because like she's new to this world and they know it. They're taking advantage of the fact that she's unaware. Like,
yeah, totally. But it's to me it's wild that she, and like part of me also was like, you didn't have to text Cosmo and say that you were out, because Maria said let me handle it, right? But you know, she's nothing if not polite. Her mother taught her good manners. Like if you know the answer to a question, you should let them know so they can make alternate plans. Little did she know that the plans were already in motion. Like,
I just feel like Amari definitely. I think it's what my. I mean, this is all in character for her. I just think my thing is like from last book, she was. It seemed like she's more likely to like wait and see a little bit. Like she was like not like she didn't have the answers, so she was like, I'ma see where this goes. And now she's kind of like, let me be prompt. And I'm like, bro, I need you to go back to wait and see. Like I need you to not be in a place where you're like proactive. Like let's be a little reactive right now. Let's keep waiting and seeing for a second.
Yeah, I think that I agree with that. I just, because even though I am much more cynical than Amari, even I am still baffled at how quickly, like she sends like is her phone even in her pocket? Like,
and it's so funny because
like,
we just came from Bree Matthews, who was doing nothing with her phone, to right. Amari, who's just like, as soon as I got something, and you're just like, dude,
put the phone down.
No,
you're still technically in class. Wait till after. It's amazing. So, Amari's like sitting there stunned, right? She and Laura are sitting there. Fiona checks on both of them, which is like really sweet, and it's like, you two stay here. And she's like, how are you doing? Like, Amari is just like, and Laura's like, he's no brother of mine. Like, that is your literal twin. Y'all share DNA.
I'm just like copy DNA, like legit copy paste DNA.
The same.
Even, like if we're related, we share DNA, but like literally, like, yeah.
Besides your chromosome being
replicated,
two X's and his being one.
Yeah. I just like for Clones. Me, I think like I think it's weird that, and it shows like the lack of understanding that Van Helsing, Director Van Helsing, is even given to his own children, which we know this man is not Father of the Year. or any year. Like he's not even father of like, as long as he's alive, he'll never be father of the year. Like he just
He's
is
not
a
even father of the
function.
week.
He's not
He can't get
father of the
father of
day, of the
the
hour, of 30 minutes. Like he's
he
not.
can't do it.
He can't do it. But my thing is like, you would like, it would behoove them to be smart enough to think about like who Dylan's possible targets could be. Would he to like get out? And they should have involved, like Agent Fiona should have been empowered to be like, makes a decision that like, I'm gonna actually keep a watch on Lara and Amari because I feel like they might be like targets, and I want to be like, want to make sure they have supervision as they're being possible targets. And but she can't do that because they got an all alert for all senior agents, and Van Helsing is very like adamant about the crap that he says, and it's like it's just ridiculous. So she could just be like, I'm gonna just stick here with them. Y'all come with me. I'll supervise y'all as things go on. Maybe things will turn out a little differently. Like they need adult supervision. They're children. And I can't. Like it makes me mad that like, I don't know. I guess like infrastructure not working the way that it is, bureaucracy not working the way that is working the way that it's built to work instead of the way that it
should
ideally should work. And it really sucks in this moment because I think Agent Fiona really could have like been the person to kind of like had a moment with them to kind of like set bases and see like how like things are going to kind of get them in a good place. And we're about to get what we get instead.
And it's like we talked about already, just like the hubris of the Bureau in general, and like part of that goes into the fact that like Amari, they just didn't have any idea that someone like, they're just like, oh, it's inescapable. Obviously not. Like, and so now they have to like spend all this time coming up with a plan.
But that's my thing too. Is like you're not like it's
they're not proactive at all. They're
me.
always like,
they're not proactive.
That's impossible.
They're actually exactly, and it's like you would think after spending the last year having multiple things happen like day after day that were impossible, you would like, oh, I need to be proactive now. Like how, like it's kind of like that meme from SpongeBob or whatever. Where it's like, how many times have to tell you, old man? Like how many times do they need to be shown that like impossible? It's like Whitney Houston, like in like Cinderella, like impossible things happen
every day. No, it's true, but it's also like you are in the supernatural world. Like you should be like, okay, this is theoretically, especially after the time freeze, right? The time freeze is theoretically impossible. They should be like, okay, we need to like go through all of our blind spots and all of the like, give me the wildest thing that you could think would happen, even if you don't believe that it could ever possibly, like, what is in your wildest imagination, what is something that like where we could be vulnerable, and it like very quickly but like someone break out of the sightless depths. You need a like, but like now they have to waste a bunch of time coming up with the plan instead of just like putting a plan in action and like people knowing exactly what their job should be. It's the same thing. It's like we go through all of these like fire drills and evacuation drills, and I mean I would love to say live shooter drills are these are impossible, but they're actually more probably in America more likely than an actual natural disaster. But like, you know what I mean? Like we go through these drills because no matter like whether or not you think that those things could happen, it's a possibility. And the last time, like the worst time to be trying to figure out what to do is when it's happening. And that's what they're doing right now. So Fiona leaves them, and immediately Tristan steps up to Amari and is like, it looks like you're getting your old partner back. And then Bear is like, I'm ready to see the rematch. Shut up, Bear.
No one asked for you.
Just like co-signing, but not bringing anything.
That's like 90s lackeyism. Like,
it's
like, oh.
It reminds me of so like when Elsie was like, oh, I'm just your sidekick. And it's like,
you want to see a sidekick? Let me
I'm like, and that I feel like that's what Amari should have said. Like, you are nobody's bear.
Okay.
You got your own thoughts, your own, you know what I mean? Like, you are not. No. And then it's like, I don't know. It's just like, to me, if Tristan is like, I am the best of the junior agents or whatever, don't waste your time bullying Amari. Like when like the Knight brothers was happening and she was trying to find her brother, she was like, I'm getting in this investigation. You know what I mean? Like Amari has like gumption or like not even ambition, because I don't think her
Drive,
drive,
determination.
yes, because like I don't think like her point of like getting in the investigation is to like get recognized. That would be the point for Tristan, but like her point is like, I want to help bring some good into the world and like justice and whatever. So it just also feels like, well, that's why you were not the elite gold star agent, because Amari is sitting here still in shock, but also like, what does this mean? What do I have to do? In her brain, she's like, he's gonna come for me. Like, you know what I mean? Her brain is already, the wheels are turning, and Tristan's like, oh, the reason that Amari got the gold star and like the biggest thing that's happened in our world in the last couple of years, just broke out of prison. You know what the first thing I'm gonna do is? I'm gonna go bully Amari.
But it's like, it's not even that. It's like, he's like, the biggest thing happening in the world right now is that there's people frozen in the World Congress. Don't nobody know what to do with it. Here comes another major like scare.
Incident.
We just had to go. We just had we thought we figured out this incident last year. Apparently not. Here we are, and the biggest thing going on in my world is Amari got that star, and I did it. That's the biggest thing going on in my world. Nothing is bigger than me.
Yeah. And it's like, I just don't believe that you're ever going to be a great agent, because
But it's not
your
about being a great
priorities.
agent, it's being a decorated agent.
Exactly. Exactly.
And Van Helsing is the reason why, like, he is the kind of personality that puts these kind of people, like, allows for this air of, like, figureheadness and like this like competitiveness based on decoration, like this like whole culture to breed and like grow in his department because of who he is as a person,
Yeah.
rather than being
That's
a
also
person
what
who's more
Van
about like
Helsing
appeasement.
values.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Amari's like just not interested in what Tristan or Bear has to say. Nobody's ever interested in what Bear has to say. But then she gets an alert to come to to Supernatural Health right away. And so she runs out, and she's met by a curse breaker who's like, I can't really tell you much, but Quentin's condition has worsened and you'll need to talk to a senior curse breaker. So she's holding Quentin's hand, and like he's kind of seizing. And it seems that as soon as she starts to hold his hand, like it gets a little bit better. And the senior curse breaker comes in and is like, don't really know what's going on. Amari's like, I think it's because Dylan Van Helsing just broke out of prison. And the senior curse breaker's like, okay, that makes sense, because we believe that when he killed Moreau, he took ownership of the curse over Quentin, and now and since he was in the Sightless Depths, he was kept in a magic canceling cell, and that's why Quentin was like getting better. But now that he's out, it seems that the curse is going back to full strength. I'm wondering, because I just kind of feel like Dylan was always the owner of that curse. Maybe not. He was the apprentice. He did like take all of Moreau's magic and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it's just an interesting thing, because if he's in a magic canceling cell, why was the curse not broken completely? Like he still was able to like Quentin was still cursed, even though he was getting like kind of better, and they were having like seeing improvements to the curse. It didn't like shatter.
It's just interesting to me because it's like, I think the Moreau part of it all, like that he could like the spell doesn't go unbroken even whenever it's not with the caster or whatever, like even if it's transferred to another person, it's still ongoing. So like I wonder if curses are longer lasting than spells overall because of like the like I guess like the extra oomph behind it, the extra like spite behind a hex or a curse is like, nah, I'm gonna keep living, you keep trying to take me out, nah, you ain't gonna get me because I'm a hex. You know what I mean? I wonder if there's a little bit more that can be used with that. I wonder if like the terms of hexes versus and curses versus spells and their longevity, because that just seems weird odd to me that like it transfers from person to person,
Yeah.
even whenever the magic is inherited. And then also it's kind of reminding me of um Doctor Strange. Hear me out. In MCU, Doctor Strange, um he does something. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember which. Is it the
Girl,
Multiverse of
you
Madness? I can't
you
remember.
you way more into Doctor Strange than I've ever been. So
I just like magic, but
I understand.
like it's in whatever. He has like he does a spell, and he tells the person that he's doing the spell against that he's like, I like you can try to break it off of me, but even if you kill me, this like it's whenever he's up. It's
It's the first one, right? When he's up against that
no, not
big.
Dormammu, because
Oh, okay.
that was a time spell he just kept using. He kept whatever. It might have been uh not Infinity War, but the one before that. No, it is Infinity War because Endgame's the one after it. So in Infinity War, whenever he's talking to
Squidward.
yes, gave it. Darren knows the name.
Squidward. We'll go with Squidward.
I keep forgetting his name. He when he went up against him, because he's also a spellcaster, so he's like he knows the rule of like magic or whatever, and like he's like you can do everything you want. So you can try to counter spell me, you can do everything you want, but the way that magic is set up, even if you kill me, this is gonna live on. So try me. And so I think there's something about like again, it feels kind of spiteful, like something about spiteful magic, just like it keeps hitting. It don't
Yeah.
matter who has it or what it's gonna keep pushing.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, and I've talked about this before. Like, I really love one of the things I really love about this book is like it a few times has given you a different take on things that we've read about a lot.
Corvus Glade. I keep mixing the first letters of his name. It's Corvus Glade. That's what it is. Haha. Okay, I'm sorry.
And this is one of those where it's like I would not have expected. Like I'm always used to like to break the curse you have to like kill the witch or get them to break the curse or like find your true love or whatever. But there is like a curse that like the curses break when the person dies. Basically, killing the person is never easy, but so it is interesting that like this just like transfers, but it also takes in like we in Amari's first lesson with Maria, we're hearing about how controlling your magic, a lot of that is controlling your emotions, and that's like the key, and like concentration. And so I'm also thinking about just this sheer amount, like when Dylan kills Moreau, he's still 13, 14. And he's been doing magic a lot longer, and he's a born magician, so he's like stronger than like Maria possibly. And we know that like him and Amari have like a vast capacity for magic. But like thinking about how old Moreau was and how many like ongoing spells and curses he probably has going on, like the concentration that takes to like have all of that then like thrust upon you. And then is Dylan just so spiteful against Amari not taking his side or whatever that he's like, I'm going to keep this going? Does he like kind of realize like having like he prioritizes keeping Quentin under a curse because it's leverage against Amari? It's a lot of things that I'm like thinking about that are interesting and kind of will come up throughout the book, just in terms of like Dylan's preoccupation kind of with Amari, I would say. Because he really, and we see this in like the last book too, but like it continues on in this book. Like he really wants her on his side, not like to like he is salty, especially like right now when he's like coming out of being in the Sightless Depths, that she didn't just like join his team. But even in like the Great Game and stuff, like he still is trying to like persuade her like that he's right, and I think is more interested in that than like he's a little bit more like, I will just defeat you if I have to, but like I still think his number one goal is for her to just like see his side and like join him, so they can rule together.
I feel like I think there's discussion there about, and we'll get there, but like his isolation, even within his own family, and how, as he was becoming friends with Amari, he learned to use her as his like moral light.
Yeah.
And there's something about that that's like he keeps holding on to.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't feel as lonely, and he feels like fully, maybe not fully seen, but like feels like there's a level of acceptance with Amari, and that's what he's kind of been missing and lacking. I think even with Moreau as his like,
I think it's
you know,
everything that he's had before Amari has been similar. Like the relationships have been like relationships, but they've been bad relationships. But he
yeah,
doesn't know to call them
conditional
bad.
and
He just knows that he doesn't like them.
yeah,
And it's only when in being around Amari that he's like, oh, this is what good looks like. So what I have must be bad. So yeah. And then like everything that he has with like the league and stuff is just also run off of that as well. So it's yeah.
yeah. So Amari runs out of the department after she finds out that the curse is back to full strength. She's looking for Maria. Maria is in her office, tells Amari like she already knows and that she's going to contact the league. And Amari is like just kind of trusting her. And Maria says like, go back to your room and try to stay positive. She's like, just try. I know, but try. Thanks, Maria. That's very helpful. I'm gonna try to stay positive. Everything's turned to shit in the last like 5 minutes, but I'm gonna.
I can find positivity in everything,
Yeah,
including the fact that you told me to leave it all to you. I told them that's going to leave it all to you, and now everything is crap. I'm gonna,
everything is shit.
and now I should definitely listen to you again when you
Yeah,
tell me that the best thing I can do right now is
just
try.
leave it to you, and stay positive. Maria's telling her to stay positive is the end of chapter 13. We're so excited to bring you all kinds of nerdy and creative content, but we can't do that without your support. Becoming a B&C baddie helps us with the general upkeep of our site, upgrade equipment, and invest in the team's creative development.
Go to help out your favorite nerds and stay for cool perks like monthly live streams, behind the scenes and bonus content, and more. If supporting Black creators sounds like your bag, you can sign up at www.patreon.com/blacknerdscreate. Now we're in chapter 14. Amari's walking back to her dorm, anything but positive. She thinks that like her getting attention is bad before. Everyone's staring at her now, and Bertha's like clearing a path so that she can get back kind of unmessed with. I don't know how to feel about Bertha because like this is like a really like nice positive thing, but I'm like, girl, what changed?
I
But
know
also, thank
it's like
you.
it's I think we learned something because I think
Yeah,
Bayana mentioned that we learned something. I just don't remember right now. But my thing is like again, why? I know why, because Van Helsing is a hole. But why in the world isn't Agent Fiona or like Agent Magnus, someone who actually like has a good decent relationship with Amari, assigned to be Amari's adult like helper or guardian while she's there? Like, why isn't that same thing given to Laura at least? You know what I mean? Like as Van Helsing's daughter, because like they're going to be targeted because of what Dylan is to them, like their relationship to Dylan. Come on. No foresight, no
no,
care, no regard.
no, that's too much like the right thing to do, Porshèa. That's really sweet that you think that they are capable of it, but
So outrageous of me to believe
yeah,
for some level of competency
that
for
at
this.
any point in time they would put the well-being of anyone,
Children.
yeah, children, but like even just like humans over the well-being of the bureau, the well-being of your own daughter,
That's what I'm saying.
your own flesh and blood. For all we know, Laura is still in that classroom, shook, alone. So
what happens next? Oh, so then she gets back to her room. She realizes Elsie isn't there, and she's feeling really like lonely, and was kind of admitting to herself that she was really hoping that Elsie would be there because she wants someone to talk to. Her world feels like it's falling apart. And then in walks Jaden. And Jaden is wearing this suit.
That sounds fun. It's giving like an upgraded version of like the dancing man from like the Six Flags commercials. Dun, 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 dun. Like it's giving like that energy, but in a suit. Like in a suit. The suit that the guy's wearing, but his energy is transferred into the suit he's wearing instead of just him dancing around in it.
And it's very much so this is the first time that like Amari has seen Jaden since they got to camp. The last
no, she saw him. She saw him
no, because they canceled the welcoming ceremony, even though, and they were watching that from bed. She hasn't seen him yet.
I get it. Oh no, she interacted with him pre.
She put the drops in her eyes, and then her mom dropped him off, and she didn't go. So this is like the first time that she's seen him, and now he's got a supernatural ability. He's wearing the suit. He's fully in the world, and she like it reminds me of Amari when she puts on her first outfit in the Night Brothers for the welcome social. It's just like the closet provides like the outfit that you need to wear, and he is like, you know, feeling himself like, look at my suit, right? So Amari asked him how he's doing and if he was going to the welcome social, and Jaden's like, I was, but then I heard about this Dylan thing, and so I thought I'd check on you first. And damn, girl, you really are famous out here. Like, you know, he's only been here for what, was like 2 days at this point. And, you know, he knows that like Amari got disinvited to camp, re-invited to camp. He's probably, people are talking about her, talking about Maria, seeing like that there's press conferences and all sorts of things around Amari. And so he's really like trying to like starting to understand just like what a big deal she is and being a magician is. And it's just kind of in awe of her still, and it's, you know, back to calling her like, you know, don't ever roll your eyes at me when I call you superstar. And then she asks what his supernatural ability is. He can talk with animals, and lets her know that he'll be trying out for creature control. And in the part of the book, or of this section that just warms my heart to no end, he thanks her and says like, he always thought like it would be cool to like work in a zoo or like work with animals, but that usually requires going to college and stuff, which seemed just out of reach to him. They don't have money for that. There's no real point. And so now he's like seeing a future for himself, really, and like something to like look forward to, and tells Amari that she's a real hero. And like at the point where Amari is like, her world is falling apart, her brother is getting sicker, Maria's telling her to just like sit on her hands and stay positive. Like, I think that it's just like a very needed and necessary thing to hear, but it's also, he's not saying it just to make her feel better. Like, he's like literally like
grateful.
And like optimistic in a way that like 2 days ago he was like, I can't even go to this camp. What are you talking about? Like, why am I going? I don't have no way to get there. You're not going to be there now. Like, what's the point, right? So,
yeah, I think it's cute that his power is like, it's kind of giving Encanto. Like the little boy learns he can speak to animals. Like, and he's already showing signs of like being chatty with animals, but then he like actually like gets the ability to hear them. And I love that it's funny that for Dylan, he was talking to pigeons on the roof of their building. He was like,
I used to like spend time up there by myself with the
I was talking to pigeons, and you know, I didn't think anything about it, you know, and it like that. I don't know. A person talking to pigeons at the top of a building can't help but give me Hey Arnold pigeon fan vibes. Like, I'm just gonna get them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's great that he goes from kind of like a slightly depressing pigeon man to like I can speak to creatures, and that can be my whole like future, my whole career going forward can be working with animals. That's really cute. And again, I really appreciate that he gave like Amari that. Like he may not know the depths of Amari's sadness right now, but he might be able to just tell that she's not like, she threw herself like out the door, hugged him. Like she really needs that companionship, and I love that he didn't let his pride get in the way of showing her like his gratification. He actually like legit was just like, no, I really
yeah,
you.
I love it. And then she's like, oh, so are you headed to the welcome social? And he was like, well, I wanted to go, but I want to go with you. And right when she's
with a blush, he's blushing very hard. It's so cute.
It's not a date. It's a hangout.
It is so cute.
But it's very cute.
It is giving me Disney Channel like decom vibes. It's so cute.
I like you. Do you like me too? Before she can like say anything though, her phone goes off. She gets a text from Cosmo that says your immediate presence is requested at the league meeting grounds. She tells Jaden like, I gotta go to the social, have fun, but I gotta go. He's like, what? You just and then as she's running, she runs into Elsie. Elsie's like, where are you running to? She's like, I'll tell you everything later, but I gotta go. Elsie's like, well, I'm coming with you. Just love. Elsie's like ready to go. Like, oh, let me put my stuff down. Let's go. And she's like, you can't come, but I'll tell you everything later. So she finally finds Maria. I just want to like say, yeah, I'll just say it now. Cosmo's text, like Cosmo sends everyone this text, everyone in the league, I guess. Which is all it says is your immediate presence is requested at the league meeting grounds. Amari doesn't know where the meeting grounds are. She don't know how she's supposed to get there, how she's supposed to get back, what she's supposed to do once she gets there.
It's a setup.
And like, we talked about this like so many times about Cosmo's just kind of assuming.
It's a setup.
Is it even assuming that like Amari knows? Or is like, I don't really care if you know or not, because you're not.
It's a setup. It's like if he's like, I gave you the opportunity to have the crown. You turned it down. I got Dylan out. Now I'm saying I'm setting up this meeting for whatever. If it's really on your priority list to stop Dylan, then you'll do what you need to do. But that's all on you, boo-boo.
Yeah.
Because if you don't show up, then everything goes out the way that I already planned for things to go out. The way that the Knight brothers already planned for things to go out. So I ain't got a problem with things going out the way they did. I'm their apprentice. I do not care.
It's just, I hate it. I feel so bad for her. So she gets to Maria. Maria's about to leave without Amari. Amari's like, wait, what? Where are you? I need to go too. And so Maria's like telling her, like,
but Maria's not a problem. But Maria's fine.
I personally don't. I think that she's being paternalistic in a way that is not helpful to Amari, but is completely understandable. If I get a like urgent, you got to come here from an adult who Aminata already told me was acting froggy, I'm not taking Aminata with me, because I already was about to call you and read you the riot act for like trying to pressure my 13-year-old buddy, I don't know, possible sister-in-law, future sister-in-law, or whatever. I don't know.
Please don't do that to Amari. Don't do that to Amari. Don't put Dylan on her.
No. Quentin on Maria, not Dylan on Amari.
Oh, I was like, please don't do that to Amari.
No. Quentin and Maria. But like Maria feels some sort of responsibility for Amari, and like in a way that is understandable. But it's also complicated, right? Like, I feel responsibility because you're a magician, you don't know anything. You're a born magician, you don't know anything. Your brother, like, threw you into this world, but he's unavailable to help you see your way through it. And my brother tried to ruin your life.
Tried to ruin everybody's lives.
Ruin everybody's life, right? And my brother is, like, the big bad. So I feel like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if I would have done it, but I understand the impulse. And I also come from a family that is very much like shield the child, or at least me. I don't know. We talked about this before. Nobody never wants to do nothing.
Said, Cosmo can meet me outside. So,
I mean, yeah, and I think that is kind of, in my brain, is what Maria is thinking too. It's like, oh, bet we gonna meet because I already got stuff to say. Like, we already about to tussle, and it's very much giving me like, you know, when your mom is about to go off on a teacher or something, they're like, go outside, close your ears, go somewhere else.
Make yourself scarce.
Make yourself scarce because we about to be in grown folks. I'm gonna talk to him like a grown man, like, and so that's what I'm getting from her going without Amari, because she's like, this man is already putting way too much on this child. Like, she ain't got enough to go with.
I would be with it, but the energy she gives in the presence and at the league is very subpar. And when we get there, but I just don't believe. I just, given Maria's like actions when we get there, I don't see it for her. And
I feel like, but I see her actions very similar.
But she is very paternalistic. I agree with you. She's being very paternalistic. I'm not. But my thing is that, like, I
don't want to unleash this Porshèa again, but I might have to.
She's gonna come
very
anyway.
much giving me Elsie going to stand up for Lara, where it's like, Elsie, you didn't have the juice, right? But Elsie had, like, in her brain, she was like, I'm about to go shut this shit down, and then she gets there and she's like, oh, don't, please. You know, very meek. But yeah, I don't know. If she was coming with Kashana's energy, would you have had as big a problem with her leaving Amari?
No. But she didn't come with Kashana's energy.
But she didn't come with the right energy, so it's smooth. So Amari comes with the right energy, and it's like, you cannot leave me behind. Someone there will have some idea of how we can help Quentin, and I have just as much right to be there as you do. And if you leave me behind and we don't figure out how to help Quentin, I will never forgive you. Like, ever. Like, none of this, no more of me listening to you and taking your lead. Like, nah. So Maria's like, okay. But stay close, because I've got the transporter, and if we have to be out, we have to be out. And I'm not looking for, I want to just be able to grab you and go. So they transport to the ruins of an ancient castle. How the fuck was Amari supposed to find, how the heck was Amari supposed to find that on her own?
That was never the question. That was never a priority.
Cosmo, till you do right by Amari, everything you touch gonna crumble. So there's this old lady who's like, I require proof of magic. She shows them a candle. Maria lights a candle. Amari's like, I don't actually know how to do that. So she makes an illusion of a fiery bird that comes out of her hands and dives through the air and explodes on top of the candle, seeming to light it. And then the old lady is like, falling with style. Like, I love it. You know, you got some drama. You got some presentation. It works. It's definitely proof of magic.
Mm-hmm.
And then they enter into this like big room. The old lady.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, the old lady.
I guess it's like she's actually wearing glamour, and she is Priyanka Kapoor, I believe, who is a Bollywood star. Amari sees like the CEO who's always giving presentations about the new stuff on her phone, like the new, like basically like Tim Cook for Apple, or I forgot, Steve Jobs. I forgot that man's name. She sees some high-powered CEOs. She sees one of Elsie's favorite celebrities, and it's like, she would die if she knew that he was a magician. Like, she's just looking around, like the top, the who's who, the bee's knees, all these people are here. And then, oh shit, my teacher.
Actual elite tent right here. The tent and the bureau had nothing on.
You got nothing on these folks. Okay. This is where it's at, right? And then she's like, oh, my teacher from Whitman Prep is over here. Look at her. I see you, Mrs. Johnson, or whatever. Her name's not Mrs. Johnson, but you know what I mean. And then she sees the Midnight Throne, and next to the Midnight Throne is this little stool, and Cosmo's sitting there, and Cosmo's like, yeah.
Not a stool. That's what's killing me about this, is that this whole time we're about to get all this dramatics from this man, and he's sitting on a stool beside the throne. He ain't even in like a smaller throne. Like, he's not on the court. Yeah. He's in a stool.
Not a nice plush chair, like, you know, like, or one of those nice, like, really soft leather, like, reading, you know, armchair. Nah, he's on a stool.
Yeah, he's in a stool.
And he's like, you know, Amari, nice to see ya. By the way, I freed Dylan.
Tell Cersei. I'm gonna tell Cersei right now. It was me.
It was me. And the rest of the magicians are kind of like, wait, what's going on? Which is crazy, because
it's ridiculous.
You put all of this stuff on Amari. Amari needs to take this crown. Amari needs to lead you into war, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's how it's been. You know, they need to have a leader. I can't do this on my own type shit. But can, like, on his own decide that he's going to bust this boy out of prison, that they're going to war. Like, Amari's like, what can I do to stop you from giving the crown to Dylan? Maria's like, you tripping. Everybody else is like, I mean, I don't know if you tripping or not, but I kind of feel like you missed some steps and we should have been informed before the breakout. Like, what's going on? And Cosmo's like, we'll call for a game. It's the only way. And Amari's like, a whomst? And that's how the chapter basically ends. Kashana says, you got the juice to break Dylan out of prison. You got the juice to lead while Amari gets her shit together. Not even gets her shit together. For a 13-year-old, I feel like Amari's shit is pretty nicely together. But again, she don't even know how to get to the ruins, my dude. She can't even come to the meeting, and you want her to lead the shit?
He didn't. He wants the drama. We're going to get into that. He wants what he wants. And what he wants is what's going to happen right now. He wants Amari to be blindsided. He wants Amari to be unsettled. Yeah. Basically. Wait, we didn't get to the end of chapter 14.
Well, it was just, you told me to stop. So I went there. I said, so where did I end?
Cosmo. No?
Yeah, I said Cosmo calls for a great, like, Amari says, what do I have to do for you to not give Dylan the crown? And he's like, we'll call for a game. It's the only way. And Maria's like, that's a last resort in case of emergency. And Cosmo's like, this is an emergency. We about to go to war. Bane is coming after all of us. And then here come Dylan like, I'm up for it. I want the crown.
I just hate that, like, it's described as, it's giving, I don't know. It really, I'm very, I guess because Disney Channel shaped my childhood, I don't know. But, like, it's very much giving, like, bad boy villain of, like, DComs, how freaking Dylan comes out the shadows, and he says with a raspy voice that raises the hairs on the basket of Amari's neck, how about you, Amari? I definitely want the crown. How about you, Amari? It's giving, like, Miley What's Good, but also, like, DCOM version of that. Like, it's just...
So, my favorite DCOM... Well, I don't know. Because I have, like, a few favorite DComs. But Brink, Andy Brinker, and then Johnny Tsunami. And they have the same villain, which is the, like, uppity... bad boy.
The rich white boy.
Rich white boy.
Blonde rich white boy.
Well, no, because in Brink, he's darker haired because, you know, they're skaters.
Because Brink is blonde. Yeah.
Yeah. But same thing, you know what I mean? Privileged and dangerous.
Yeah.
And I could totally see them being like, I want the crown. What about you?
Like stepping from again, the drama behind it. This is like what I
stepping out of the shadows.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like whenever I was stuck in, like, yes, do I like to play up the drama? Yes, because I love reality TV. I love playing up the drama always. But I also wanted to make it that a point when I did the recap for this episode because I'm like, the drama is going to keep dialing up because the people who are involved are dramatic people. Like they just they live for the drama. They breathe the drama. The theatrics that they were in the theater group of their school. These are who these people are. Okay. I just need that to be apparent.
You know, it's really funny too, because I don't love magician as like, you know, like, I mean, I get it, like wizard's been overdone.
I don't like it either.
I like
magician
like,
is
they be
the
like
connotation is
mage
too Las Vegas. It's
yeah,
like,
it gives
like,
because magician gives me very much a Vegas-y, like,
yeah,
you know, blah 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 dry, like kind of
like
thing,
a card trick.
Yeah, just very showy, like sleight of hand, but not anything like
significant.
Yeah,
or change, like actual transfiguration or whatever.
But when you think about like how these people are like drawn to like the drama and stuff, I guess like magicians,
they live up to the word.
Like, could they not be mages? Mage, you know?
But they literally are doing magician kind of level.
Yeah,
it's like, it's sad though. It's like, oh,
they basically give Cosmo a cape.
Yeah,
and some smoke bombs.
You don't
know
even
what I mean?
need it. He don't even he puts smoke bombs in his delivery of his words. Like, that's who Cosmo is.
It is the only way. We are at war. Like, are we really? I don't think we're at war because people still don't even know y'all exist.
I think the war is in your head, baby.
Yeah. The only magicians that they know is me and Dylan.
I think you've been proud to fight since you said all my life I had to fight. But what you been fighting? Because I came in and I didn't see no fighting. It was me. I was on the front line, not you. So what's happening?
The only people they worried about is me and this little boy who they thought they had locked up until you broke him out. We going to war for the other, like the witches? We going to war for
Sasquatch and their mafia?
Like, what's, you know what I mean? The other unwanteds who also don't know that we exist for the most part.
Like, they have a bit more of an inkling that they exist than, like...
But they don't know who you are. They know who I am. You could have just sat there and ate your food.
Cosmo. I feel like we're reading Cosmo and we haven't even gotten to venturing people yet.
But because you could have just sat there and ate your food.
He really could.
Kept it on the low. Keep an eye out, right? Ears nice to the ground, but you ain't got to make these big moves right now.
Look, but it's not about ain't got to, because the man is dramatic and he lives for the drama. It's about the drama. It's not about what's reasonable and what needs to be done. It's about the drama, the theatrics. Let's give people a show. People, you're exactly right. Nobody knows who I am. And for that reason, every time I make an entrance, a show. A show. A show. That's Cosmo. And we're going to see that. So Cosmo was Vladimir's apprentice or whatever. Dylan was Moreau's. And we're about to see right here in chapter 15, starting off already, that the theatrics are just part and parcel of being like in any kind of relationship and connection to the Knight brothers.
The Knight brothers are the drama. Question: how old is Cosmo's ass? Did he answer this before?
I don't know if we found out how old Cosmo was.
When he said like he was Vladimir's apprentice, and I'm like, but that motherfucker died.
I mean, he could be his latest apprentice. Like, there could be, but you know what I'm saying? That's facts.
His death ended the ancient war or whatever it's called.
I keep saying he's his apprentice. Maybe I'm misreading the words. Maybe he's just following instructions that were passed down from the last apprentice, from the last apprentice, from the last apprentice.
But maybe he's in the apprentice line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because he keeps saying that he keeps saying Vladimir said. So I keep assuming that he heard it from Vladimir, but maybe he just heard it from the chain, like the grapevine. I don't know.
Maybe. Because he says Vladimir was kind enough to leave us a message for this occasion.
Yeah, I'm about to get into. Okay.
But yeah, I'm just trying to. Sorry, I don't want to go too far into it, but I'm trying to see if it's
So let's get into it. Yeah. So, I want to start off with some of the drama, and I don't want to talk about this wizard boy, but I can't help but see the parallels between Dylan and Tom Riddle, because he really is on top tier. It feels very Tom Riddle. So Amari describes Dylan as being deathly pale with dark circles underneath his eyes that she can no longer recognize, because no longer does he have the blue eyes that she smiled into so many times last year. No, they've been replaced by deep red eyes that make him look unnatural, like a monster.
He been in that cell with his magic canceling cell
without
hasn't actually been canceling his magic.
Right.
Just
It is just, and so,
descending into
but we don't know. But
descending.
that's the thing too. Is like, were his eyes blue in the cell, and then as soon as he popped out of the trap door or whatever, there was like, nah, haha, my magic hit, the road magic's hit me, and now I'm red eyed. I don't know. So his appearance and who, like, the situation is roots Amari to the floor. She can't speak, and she just feels like this wasn't supposed to happen so soon. She wasn't supposed to see him again for decades. She was prepared to not see this boy until he was a grown man and she was a grown woman. That's what she was prepared for.
She ended last book said, "Woo, that's that. Done with that. All done. Glad that's over with."
She's living the trauma of seeing Dylan. Maria is also still with a stricken face. She starts to say Dylan, and Maria, he says, Maria, you seem to have just been disappointed that your little brother is back. And it's just, this is very traumatic for everyone involved. I guess too for Dylan, like, I see it. I don't want to throw his trauma under the bus, but it is very, like, the dramatics that are going to come are based on everyone here in a place of like trauma and not being able to process it in the moment, and it's very sad. And the first thing Amari can think to say is, Dylan, please release the curse on Quentin, please. Like, girl,
she's standing on business, okay?
But like, this is you can tell how unprepared she was to see this guy, because she's like, the last thing I had in my brain was Quentin. Like, she can't even, like, she's not even prepared to, like, go on some other line of, like, trying to cajole him, trying to, like, be sweet, nice to him to see where he's going. Nothing. She's just like, Quentin. And then Dylan, she says, Dylan practically growls when he speaks and says, I don't owe you anything, partner. You're the reason I spent the past year in sightless debt, stuck in the dark day after day. It was a nightmare. And Amari says, you did that to yourself.
Right?
And he said, did I? But I trapped myself in the cage of lightning. And she balls her fist and she steps closer. Help my brother, or I'll swear I'll. You'll do what? He steps forward to meet her. And then Priya puts herself between them and says, stand down, you two. This throne room is considered neutral ground. Only words may be used against others within these walls. And for me, Priya is very much the camp counselor from The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan movie, where she's like, girls, I mean Haley, I mean, like, she's like I mean Annie, I mean, I'm so sorry. That's the vibes that Priya's giving me. And honestly, Mari and Dylan give me Annie and Hallie. They're like, oh, I'll deck you, and they're like kind of like bucking up to each other. I think it's hilarious for that, but also the drama. It's just dramatic.
I'm like, Priya, my dear,
what's she gonna do?
But also, is your brother in a coma right now? Because words ended when my brother was in a coma for a year.
And it's still there because this little boy right here,
right,
is in his feelings.
Also, I didn't even know this place existed 2 minutes ago. Y'all ain't tell me shit.
What rules am I supposed to abide by if I don't know the rules? She's like, DW, what? Like, I can't.
It's got me. I can't even read.
Like, who gonna stop me? So this is hilarious. Priya stops them, whatever. Then, so Amari is contemplating, like, how she's supposed to be calm when she's like, all she needs to do is to talk to Dylan or whatever to heal Quentin. And Dylan, on the other hand, is prepared for exactly the situation. Like, he's prepared to speak to the crowd. He's not like he's not going to worry too hard about talking to Amari. He says to the magicians and the balconies overhead. So there's people sitting up all around in the balcony around them watching this is a show. This is a drama. And he opens up his arms wide and gazes up to them and says, if you offer it to me, meaning the crown, I will humbly accept the crown of Vladimir. It is time to show the supernatural world that magicians won't be pushed around. What would Vladimir think of you all, cowering in your little castle, afraid of your own shadows? The Night Brothers struck fear into the hearts of all who dared cross their path. I'll teach Bane the lesson he should have learned the first time he attacked our kind. I'll return us to our proper place in the supernatural world. And then after a few anxious seconds, a cheer goes up and a few magicians even chant crown him. And to me, again, the dramatics, it gives me Scar when he's singing Be Prepared and he says, stick with me and you'll never go hungry again. So he's like, and like I can feel like Dylan's vibe is like he wants to be the king, undisputed, respected, saluted, and seen for the wonder that he is. Like that's all Dylan's vibe. And I feel like honestly to me, it's like he was sitting in the sightless desk and he just kept repeating like Be Prepared in his head over and over again. That was his like song to vibe to. And then as soon as he pops out and he's like there in the court, he's ready to make his case and get the crowd on his side. And it just shows to me, like you were saying earlier, Robyn, how like he like Cosmo like and has already planned, like it's clear that he already had a plan in place for Dylan or whatever to bring him out, and that Dylan was aware. And so it's like it's really scary how prepared Dylan is. Like Amari has no clue, not only because she's new here, but because like she had no clue that like the league works in this way where there's going to be a crowd of people for her to try to like make a case to.
Famous people
Whereas
too.
Dylan is just like, I got a speech right here in my pocket. Here we go. Boom.
Yeah. And it's crazy because like not only is Amari like having to play catch up, but like she's not arguing that magicians should cower in the dark or be treated like lesser. Like even in her like few public statements, you know, that she has made, she's like, I just think that we should be treated fairly. But that's not.
They're seeing equal as less than.
Yeah, like, but it's also like it's being treated fairly isn't as persuasive as like we'll be on top when you're currently like people are in hiding and they're scared about what Bane's gonna do. So like they're also like their fear is really heightened, and so in a way like Amari's position is more of the like moderate position, and like the moderate position does not usually ever like whip people up into a frenzy, because it's just like, oh, let's just calm down, everyone. let's just take a breath and and not start a war.
Maybe? It's so weird because it's like again that's like shows preparedness and stuff, because like how much like it feels like, I mean definitely Cosmo knows, but it also feels like Dylan knows to an extent how much of the league is on the side of like we've lingered too long in the shadows and we must show our full selves. We should not be like boxed in or whatever, versus the amount of the league that's just like, let's be reasonable about like equality. Like we don't know how the league is divided, what the percentages are, who's likely to like sway to one side or another. We don't have any idea. So it's just kind of like, can Amari make a case? She honestly is set up for failure in multiple ways, but is she also set up for failure with the people with like in the league? Like if she were to have taken the crown, would she have been like fighting a faction of people who are like adamantly about like, I'm going to go to war no matter what you say, even though I'm supposed to listen to you? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't feel like you're the rightful heir to the crown, so therefore I don't have to listen to you. Like, I'm not my president kind of thing.
Yeah. And Kashana says like she also has being new against her. Like she's gotten some heat, but she hasn't lived in this world for that long. And Dylan's grown up being a Van Helsing, having to hide from his own dad, and also being Moreau's apprentice. So he like has also like seen how Moreau galvanizes magicians and all of that other stuff too. So people are like, Kashana says like people are not necessarily going to give Amari the benefit of the doubt. And I think that's also because she's been along with the Bureau the whole time.
Yeah.
Because she found out about being a magician from joining the Bureau, and everything that she knows about the world, she knows through the lens of the Bureau.
Yeah.
So.
And they know that about her. They know that she probably sees them in the same lens that the Bureau does. So that's also a minus on her part. So, and she doesn't even know that she has to, that's the sad thing about being young too. Is you don't know how much of the world you need to be able to see from different angles and perspectives, because you only really truly have your own at the time. It's not until like, even if you are like, I mean, I can only speak so much, broadly for other people, and I wonder about like the younger generation for like Gen Z or whatever, Gen Alpha, because I know whenever I didn't get access to like intersectional text until I was like in grad school. That being a thought process, I got access to like Black feminist text, which is intersectional by rights, but like not with like the word intersectionality being like a main just like thought part art and whatever. But there are people like saying I was getting that in like grad school at the same time like 12-year-olds were getting it on the internet. And so I'm like, I wonder like if that helps, like what that does for you when you're that age. But I also like, so like I say that with a grain of salt of like, yeah, like it's kind of hard, like being young and being able to be like, oh, I need to look at the world a little bit more broadly instead of this one limited perspective. Some people get it, some people don't, and that
either way,
really hard to
it takes them more than a year to then translate that into a coherent and persuasive kind of like argument for their outlook on the world too, like,
or actually see the world brought like generally that way.
Yeah,
like, it takes you how to like integrate it into how you like actually move. Yeah, but it's like so that's an interesting point too. So Cosmo, again, dramatics. So Dylan's riled up the crowd. Cosmo goes, release the Kraken! And it's actually the crown. He's actually saying, bring forth the crown. And a figure in red emerges from the doorway carrying a glass case that holds a shimmering black crown and then places it on the Midnight Throne. Cosmo then says, stepping over and striking the glass hard with his hand, and the pieces shatter across the floor, Vladimir was kind enough to leave us a message for this occasion. And then the wind kicks up throughout the room, blowing hard enough for it to cover Amari's face. When it dies down, she's able to see a ghostly, shimmering illusion of a thin man with a twisting beard who now sits on the throne. And it's Count Vladimir, and he immediately, everyone in the lead drops to one knee except for her and Dylan. Amari's whole thing is she's talking about to a night brother, and Dylan, she says that she thinks he comes to the same conclusion. I think it's that Dylan is just on his own stuff, and he doesn't think that he should have to bow.
Yeah, he's already beaten them.
He's like I'm on the same level tonight, brother. Actually, so I don't have to bow to someone who's my peer. Like, yeah. And his illusion, Vladimir's illusion, echoes throughout the room, and he says, "When I cast my illusions into the future one final time, I saw that our righteous cause would end in failure. I would soon fall, and in time, so would Moreau. So I took the steps to share my magic and preserve the existence of magicians through the creation of the League. In my final hours, I poured what magic I had left into a crown, in the hope that one day a new generation of born magicians would wear it and take up the fight that Moreau and I were destined to lose." Like, how do you make sounding like a loser sound like this great like prophecy? Yeah. Right? Like, it's so brave of me to like have a backup plan whenever I would fall down. Like, really? You're trying your darndest to live forever, bro.
It also, it's like, I don't know, like, these people are around the world, Priyanka's a Bollywood star. I'm assuming that she's not based in Atlanta. She might be, but like, I don't know. As an American, I remember when like, I mean, I'm a Black American, which adds another layer to this as well, but I just remember when the Queen died and people were like staying up all night to watch her funeral, and like everyone was talking about it.
In the US?
Like, yeah, people were like staying up, waking up early.
My Twitter feed was hilarious. All my socials were hilarious.
All of my Twitter feed was too, but like even my mom's like, "Oh, are you gonna watch the?" No, I'm not watching that shit. Especially if I'm gotta wake up. The only thing I will wake up for in Britain, and I'm saying this as someone who just woke, like the first thing I did today when I woke up was go to the bar to watch Arsenal. I will watch some football. That's it. I mean, maybe if Stormzy was getting a parade. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah. Stormzy's gonna get a parade. Yeah.
Stormzy's getting a parade. Like, man, maybe okay. I'll wake up. I'll set my alarm. But like, if it's not sports, and even when it is sports, sometimes I'm like, I'll catch that on the replay. I'm not bothered. I'm just not trying. And so the idea of seeing this man, or the specter of a man who lost, and who knows his brother is going to lose, on a throne, talking about how he imbued this crown and like is lording over me. Like, bitch, you dead. I'm not bowing the knee for you.
This is giving very Confederate. The South will
rise again. Like,
bro, like, you lost. You're a loser. You're flying the flag of losers. Your ancestors are losers. Yay.
And it's also just like, okay, you were leading the league, or you started the league, or whatever.
And you're gone.
If the imagery was like president, chief, maybe, like chief of staff, you know what I mean? Like chief of, what are they called? Board, chief of the board or whatever. I don't know. CEO.
Or like, what is it? Foreman? Not foreman. Chairman.
Chairman of the board. Thank you. If that was the imagery, maybe. Like, we elect you and we could get rid of you if we want to. But king? Crowning? I'm not crowning nobody.
It's hilarious, like, how much, this is a whole tangent, but this has been on my mind, like, because I keep noticing it, like, for capitalism, how much, like, the, like, deservedness and destiny has been interrelated with, like, monarchies and crowns, because it's really, like, monarchs are nothing but just rich people who have, like, put out a tenet of, like, why they deserve to be the leaders of a country because of how rich they are.
And how long they've been in power.
Right. And then how long they're able to maintain their seat in the monarchy is even just like puts more credit behind the fact that they're supposed to be destined to be that person. And then we do all this work to get rid of a monarchy only to have a monarchy but by another name through like plutocracy. Yeah. And it's just like nobility, but like it's just like rich people. That's basically what we have. And so like like if you were like, you were born in the 16, you were born like early, like, you know, times. This is all based in established in the United States. And the imagery you want to use is monarchy still? Like, what are we? Were you a Tory at the time? What were we doing? Like, are you a Whig? Whatever you were, sir. What are we doing?
And like, so we just had like, I don't know if you don't, because you work in the nonprofit world. I'm sure you have something similar to like an earnings call. We do every time these people get all hyped up about like, oh, we made this ARR, our growth year over year. And it's this like pomp and circumstance about some shit that I'm like, is my check getting bigger? No.
It's just your pockets because you're still letting your wage theft, because you're taking the profits that I'm able to help build out and you're saying you deserve the profit when it's actually the work that I did. So wage theft?
I don't give a fuck.
Wage theft. You're telling me there's more wage theft happening this year. Okay. Sure.
I'd be like, oh, cool. So it means that I shouldn't have to worry about possibly getting laid off.
Hopefully.
Unless you decide that year over year profit wasn't big enough and then you need to make some more. We are valued at X. Is my check growing?
So the value that you see is going to translate to my check. No?
All right, then.
Hypocrisy, right?
All right, then I'm gonna be over here not caring.
Yeah.
Clocking out at 5. Like, this whole, like, speech and
pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, it's like the pomp and like the whole thing, it makes me so grossed out.
Yeah.
I'm like, this has the opposite effect on me than you would want it to have, and I just don't understand.
It also grosses out Amari as we see her, like, just being like, completely wholly taken up, not just because she's not used to it, but because it's like, what the F is this? And you got to think about the fact that like these are legit whole grown adults who have pledged to allow the leadership of their organization be on the mantle of 13-year-old children because this is what they were told to do by the creepy old degenerate old men who held those seats before.
She's looking around like, I got this Bollywood star, I got a couple of like Fortune 500 CEOs bending the knee, and they want me to be in charge. I'm 13.
You've shown how you're competent in working through the world as an adult. should not have to show my competence to navigate the world. I'm trying to navigate school. Right. Like today I have homework. Today. I can't. So
you gonna do what I tell you to do, But I can't even stay out past the time the streetlights come on because my mama said I gotta be in the house. Like, what is that?
And you know they're gonna
I'm
be
gonna lead you
tripping.
as far as Mama Peters tells me it's time to go home.
And you know they're tripping because you know they're gonna say crap about you doing it. Like, oh, you're a child anyway. Why should I bother? And they're gonna begrudgingly do whatever you tell them to do. They're not even gonna be 100%. So what's the point? We're already. I love how we're both just uninvested in like the league itself. Like, no.
If I was Amari, I'd be like, this is cute. Give Dylan the crown. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Bye. Y'all want some other shit.
Let's get there. So Vladimir's illusion continues and says, but only one can inherit the power. Moreau and I chose to share our magic, and that was our great mistake. Which, love that Moreau's not around for him to have said this to his face. It's like after Moreau's dead, he's like, oh, so like, just so y'all know, sharing magic,
giving all of y'all magic was a mistake.
It's a mistake.
All of you existing here right now,
big mistake.
My bad.
He says, for two halves can never be as grand as one whole. So he's better than him and Moreau together. So he asks, who here dares to wear my crown? Who thinks they're worthy of my magic? And then the illusion vanishes. And again, this is how prepared Dylan is. I was like, did he already see this message? Because as immediately as the illusion goes away, Dylan steps forward and says, I do. And Cosmo, the drama king that he is, calls from his stool. And you, Amari Peters, would you now fight to possess this crown? And Amari's like, Dylan can't be allowed to have it. And then Cosmo says, so what would you do to stop him? And she's like, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but what choice do I have? If he has the crown, he's going to start a war, and countless people and supernaturals will get hurt. And I'm the only one standing in his way. Again. And then Maria, cut to my problem with Maria is she says, Amari? And I'm like, girl, how are you going to come at Amari? This whole time you've been silent. There's been all these other adults in the room that you could have been like, stop. You are a magical person. I know that the league says that there are rules, there's only words in here. You better throw something up because why are you telling Amari to stop? So you're going to just let Dylan keep going? You didn't say Dylan don't. You said Amari don't. What are we doing?
Because she don't expect nothing to Dylan. Dylan already showed his ass.
It's not even about that, bro. Like, Dylan is your brother. You grew up with this boy. You know Amari less time than you know freaking Dylan. You're gonna tell Amari to stop, little black girl, when she goes to go for power, tell her to stop. You didn't stop your brother, the little white boy. Because you don't see no problem with the little white boy going for some power. Or if you do, you're not gonna do nothing about it in a moment. What is that about?
He's a lost cause because he takes after his father. I don't know. Don't make me.
I'm pissing at Maria for that. It really pisses me off. Because like, what does she even mean to do? Like, what are you gonna do, Maria? Kishana's like, Maria is ellipses. Exactly. What the F, Maria? And so Amari's voice comes out in a shaky whisper, and she says, "I'd accept the crown." And Cosmo smiles because again, this is all just joyful for him. This is the thing that he's in.
Do you know what happened? I figured it out. Cosmo went and tried to turn on some Netflix because he heard the news Stranger Things dropped, and it said, you do not live in the same household as this account. And he was like, oh no, what is I to do? How will I be entertained?
I'll make my own entertainment.
Great game. Cosmo, if you don't open your own Netflix account and spend that $13.99 a month or however much it costs.
Now she's calling him broke.
Broke bitch. This is his entertainment.
I feel like his entertainment is like Bravo. Like he just lives for drama. He's like for reality TV and drama. He's like on VH1. He's on all the drama. He's there for the drama.
The Housewives is over. Season. I have to wait a whole nother season.
I'm in a hiatus. What to do? The Great Game. 13-year-olds battling out for a crown. That's what I'm gonna do. So then Cosmo says, if both of you want the crown, then there's only one way to settle this, the Great Game. The winner will wear the crown and determine the fate of magician kind. And that sounds so dumb too. Like, we already hate the word magician, but then the word for all of magicians is magician kind? What are we doing?
Portia's so disgusted. I mean, I think it's dumb. It's just they need the first thing whoever gets the crown needs to do is hire a brand manager and do a refresh, because
right. Let's put a pause on the war until we can get this situation.
It's not inspiring me.
It's not. It is uninspired, actually. It takes the juice out of everything.
It's not making me want to fight in the war. You know, for magician kind.
No.
Our headquarters are in Vegas. You can see us at the Luxor.
So
add in, we will not be led by a tween. Thank you, Kashana. She said they need a new charter, a clause that says you must be 30, 35. I don't know how old these people are.
I need to know who the league subcommittees are and who the leaders for the subcommittees are, because I'm like, where's the governance committee and who's in charge of that? Like, y'all let Vladimir, and like, who's dead? He's dead. So y'all didn't want to charter a freaking committee once they died?
They were kept out of the loop, whoever they are, because Cosmo did all this on his own.
I can't. Poor management. This is why y'all lost, quite frankly. That's why you have bad PR in the freaking supernatural world, because y'all can't get it together. This is okay. So I just want to note, because I'm just gonna note the actual the
rules of the game.
Rules of the game. But before I get there, I just wanted to say, in this, the way that we get this information is through Cosmo, and Dylan asks, what does it cost to join? And then Cosmo tells him. And then whenever Amari asks for extra elaboration, then he's really vague and he dances around her question. And Amari notes that. And again, it shows how it's another example of how Cosmo is prepared for Dylan to lead things and does not care to illuminate Amari on anything that could help her be the winner of what he's about to put in front of them. So the stakes of the Great Game are: participants must sacrifice all but one drop of their magic once they receive the crown. So the person who wins the crown not only receives Vladimir's magic, they also receive the loser's magic, except for one drop of it. And knowing how much magic Amari has in her body, that's a lot. And Amari's also reflecting on what a magician, what Moreau looked like whenever his magic was yanked out of him. And she said that she saw him dissolve into ashes, and she was like, that's not cute. And she says, so won't that destroy the other magician? And Cosmo nods and says, as I said, the Great Game is not for the weak of heart. So he does not give a whit whose magic gets sucked up at the end of this. It's all entertainment for him.
But he also is she's thinking okay, so I'll get Vladimir's magic and Dylan's magic, but her also thought is I'll be able to end Quentin's curse.
That's the reason why she's down.
So
but even all the negatives about it, she still feels skeevy. It all feels disgusting to her. She's very perturbed by it.
And you have to think about, so Dylan has Moreau's magic in him now too.
Yeah.
So at the end, the winner will have Vladimir's magic, Moreau's magic, and then the other person's magic. So Amari, when she touched the orb or whatever, she's 100% magic now. Yeah. We don't really know what
percentage
the Night Brothers were. Obviously, they were high. Right?
Well, they were born magicians.
They're born magicians. So is all born magicians 100% magic?
We don't know.
We don't know, because
Dylan is also a born magician, because Maria is the one who was a shared magician. So yeah,
Dylan's a born magician as well. But it's also we don't really. The only person who's actual number amount of magic we've seen is Amari's. But Moreau was enough magician that when he got his magic snatch, he was shriveled up and then just kind of crumbled away.
We did. I think we also learned that I don't think we know percentage, but we know that Merlin is a decent percentage of magic, but Amari's the highest recorded number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's even Merlin, who put magic in the crystal ball is not 100% magic. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of the things where it's like, I guess it's very selfless. For Amari to be like, I got to be in for this, because if I don't win, they're going to go to war. All these people are going to die. But if I do win, I can. But it's also like, ugh, girl, if you lose, that's it.
Yeah, like as Kashana says, like, why does she think she's gonna win? Like, she doesn't trust the process at this point. I don't trust the process either, Kashana. But I think the thing is that she doesn't think that she can. I don't know if she thinks she can win. I think she thinks that she has to win. Like, like in her mind, she's just like, I'm gonna get in the game and I have to win it, because I can't let anything that could happen if I don't win is so bad. I have to try to win, and it's what's messed up about it all. Cosmo of it all, the Vladimir of it all, the League of it all, is that like, they don't even learn the conditions for, like, they can even like make a clear plan about like, do they actually want to go in a battle for this crown, and know all the conditions, so they can actually make an informed decision to say yes or no to trying to go for the battle for the crown, because they don't learn about the conditions until after the fact they say yes. So It's like, she can't even say, like, she can even like, oh, I weighed the thoughts and I think I can win this. She can't even do that. She doesn't have the opportunity to actually weigh and decide like if it's worth, or if she has a chance to win the game, because she's already over. She's already like in the game.
Yeah. It's a lose-lose. Because even if she wins, then she got to lead these I mean, I don't know. In my brain, I'd be like, oh, I'm the head of the League of Magicians. Guess what? This shit disbanded. Go do whatever you want to do. But I will know each and every one of your names, and if you fuck around, you're gonna find out.
I wouldn't disband it, but I have thoughts. Anyways, before we get to my thoughts of what I would do with power, I want to get to this rest of the stakes of the game. So not only will they sacrifice all their magic, but they will both wear game rings that will be invisible to anyone who's not aware of the great game already. So anyone who's not currently in the room the room where it happens, where they're having this conversation, they will be unaware that this game is happening, and the rings will keep them on path, and to keep this stuff a secret. They don't know that yet. I'm forecasting from stuff that I've already read this book, so I already know what the rings are going to do.
She can't tell Elsie.
She can't tell Elsie, basically. Yeah. And so because even in the moment, whenever she's being told that she can't tell this to anyone outside of the room, she's like, I'm trying to tell Elsie, but then the ring keeps her from telling Elsie. And how it does that is that it can warm her, and it can also squeeze. And so the game rings will deliver a warning warmth, and then transfer the people wearing the rings to the location of one of 5 victor's rings. The first person to receive 3 victor's rings wins the great game. And throughout the great game challenge, and in fact during any time at all, they are allowed to steal the other person's magic at any point. And if you are to steal someone's magic, you automatically win the game, and you don't have to worry about collecting any of the rings. So very dire.
Like, I don't know. I just like, I don't like the idea that like you can take the magic of born magicians.
I don't like the fact that you can take magic at all. Like, I
don't like either. But if you can, like, I kind of feel like if you can give it to your apprentices or whatever, like being able to take it away makes sense. But if I'm born with this shit, I don't like that. Like, it's extra gross to me.
I'm like, just imagine living and breathing, walking around, and somebody just snatches your magic. Like, that it's so galling. That's why I didn't like the end of Doctor Strange, that the black man, that Baron Mordo is over here snatching magic out of people. I'm like, yo, that is trifling.
I'm really upset that you just called Chiwetel Ejiofor the black man.
Okay, I was saying it because the optics of the black man going around smashing people's magic. That's what I'm saying.
I understand that.
That really pissed me. I was like, how?
But in my brain, that is Chiwetel.
Okay.
And he.
But how dare they? How dare they make the black man be the magic slasher?
This is true. Kashana says though, she thinks that Moreau crumbled partially because he's old and that the magic was keeping him alive for so long. So
now he was decrepit.
So like once he got his magic snatched, all that age just caught up with him because the man was like 600 years old.
He was centuries old. He was decrepit. Yeah,
enough is enough. Yeah, you know,
it was very mummy. It was very.
He got his magic snatched, and the universe said, "Woo, thank God," because
we was holding you like dribbles and drags.
Mm-hmm. Grim Reaper was like, "I've been following this man along for centuries."
The karma that probably hit him as soon as the magic was snatched.
Yeah. Because you know they say like racist and if you're a bad person, how you age, like milk. If not for that magic, all of that caught up with him. All that karma. Oof. So.
Amari, even though she's getting told all these awful and horrible stakes, can't help but to look at Maria and imagine how she's feeling because she's putting herself in Maria's shoes and she's like, Maria may have promised Quentin that she'd keep Amari safe, but Dylan is still her brother. And so Amari promises to herself that no matter how bad it gets, she won't steal Dylan's magic because she doesn't want to become a monster to win. And I'm like, that's a nice sentiment, my lady. But you're playing a game against some real shisty MFers. So,
and not only that, but like if it's you or him. Because you already know he's stolen people's magic. Someone's magic.
But it's like you know who he is. Like,
exactly.
You know what that's what I'm saying. He's real shisty. Like you gotta know better. You gotta be like, I'm willing to give the same energy that's given to me.
Right. It's not gonna be your go-to move. But if your back's against the wall, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Like that's low key my personality. Is I will give the same energy that I'm given.
Mm-hmm.
And I just need Amari to adopt someone just a little bit, just especially whenever your life is on the
line. Your life is on the line. But this is how she got guilted into going to help Laura because she
exactly. So Amari says from the way that Dylan is looking at her, she can't say that he feels the same. That he's already tried to steal her magic once, and that was before he blamed her for sending him to the sightless depths. So she understands how bad this is, and she still wants to be the better person, and I need her not to do that. There's also one final business before the game can commence, and that is a vow of secrecy, and that's whenever they both agree, and Amari says she's going to tell Elsie if she can't. So then, of course, in straight decom villain fashion, Dylan steps right up close to Amari and says, "Watch your back, Amari. One way or another, you're going to pay for what you did to me." And
what, beat you?
Chills run down her spine because she knows that he means it. And then he takes a step backward and vanishes. True drama. Insane. Also,
where is this little boy staying?
In Cosmo's
Lake House?
Yeah. Because that's his sponsor. That's who's putting the battery in his back. That's his sponsor.
You're just gonna let this little boy out from the sightless depths and then just
sleep over at Cosmo's house. Not that that's at all not great looking as an adult, you know?
Cosmo it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yes.
I'm going to need you to leave these children. Back up off these children.
So the final scene is Amari and Maria back at Maria's office. Neither of them speak for a while. They're both overwhelmed. And Amari tries to talk to Maria about like, you know, I know you're mad, and she's in Maria like is like, I need a moment. And Amari just keeps going and saying, I'm gonna win anyway, and you don't have to worry. And Maria's like, I do have to worry because this isn't just the bureau tryout where the worst thing is that you like get sent home for the summer. Vladimir believes the Night Brothers lost the ancient war because they didn't go after one another's magic, that they chose to join forces, and he doesn't mean for there to be two magicians left at the end. The contest will happen in impossible locations, and you could die. And there's nothing I can do about it. And then Amari asks, would you rather Dylan get the crown and start another war? Because if that happens, way more people will get hurt than just me. And I know you promised Quentin you look after me, but you gotta let me do this. If I can win 3 rings, then I can help Quentin and prevent a war. And Maria tilts her head back and says, you're 13, Amari. And Amari says, I can do it. And then Maria's like, well, what do you want me to do? To just go along with it? And Amari's like, I need you to give me a chance to win. You've already started teaching me magic, so teach me how to use it to defend myself. And Maria shakes her head and she's crying. She's like, I can help as much as I can, but I'm scared for you and I've done everything to keep you from doing this. And Mari says, I'll be fine. And she tries to smile, but she doesn't really. Don't underestimate me. And she leaves Maria's office and goes back to the elevators. And even when she gets on the elevator that sings, she's not like, doesn't bring her any joy. And the elevator asks, is there someone I can call for you? Agent Magnus or Fiona, anyone? And Amari is like, nope, it's all up to me now. It's all on me. So the weight of the world is on a 13-year-old. A 13-year-old who has no, if she had a supernatural ability that was sanctioned by the Bureau, they would have trained her on it, but it's unsanctioned. So she has no actual formal training on it. She barely knows like a spell that she ended up using last book. She doesn't even know how the extra part from that spell even happened. She is occasionally using her magic, but you know, even then it's whatever.
She's making birds.
Firebirds. Her one ally is the sister to her opponents, who they all have conflicted feelings about of one another around. And that same ally is like doubtful about her ability to make it through the contest, and is also not helpful in making inroads in the league. Like, she needs someone who actually has a good relationship with people in the league to like teach Amari unsanctioned magic on the side or something. And Maria is not really that girl. Like, Maria is not helpful in that lane. And I'm just thrown because Maria is the Dalton situation and Quentin's dead. And if
Quentin's not dead.
And Quentin's dead. And
Quentin's dead. Oh my God. I thought you said, and Quentin is dead. I said, girl.
And Quentin's dead. And if Quentin were like, I would like to believe that Maria thinks she's moving in the way that Quentin would if he were around, but I really doubt it, because like there's no way that Maria is doing what Quentin would do were he here. Like, how would you not step in front of those league members and tell them to shut the F up around this 13-year-old? Like, how would you not threaten to break down the building if they don't get the F out of here with this crown BS? Like, what are you doing? I just distrust everything about this process. I distrust Cosmo. I distrust Maria. I distrust everybody who's in the league who's a full grown adult. And here we are. Like, it's all crap. And I hate that Amari's been put in a situation once again, the fate of the world on her shoulders. And she ain't even of this world. She just got in here.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's just, I'm just like, here we are once again.
I mean, I think like one thing I do really love about middle grade books, especially middle grade series, is that like they find a way to make the stakes higher each book.
Mm-hmm.
And like with the stakes here, it is always like, you know, Amari has like what? Does she still even have the book that Dylan lent her from Madame Violet? Like, but she's maybe got a book. And then Maria, she's got like, you know, like you just listed out. She does not have that much on her side to help her. But then the stakes have gotten even higher. Because now it's like, last book it was like making sure Quentin was okay. Now it's like she still needs to make sure Quentin's okay, because Quentin is not okay. But then she's also now trying to stop a war. And like save all of these people kind of from themselves. Because, again, like I said, like, Cosmo, they're not even checking for you. Like, they are checking for unwanted, but they don't know that the league exists. They don't know the vast numbers of the league. You could literally walk into the Bureau today as whatever you are. Like, you know, I'm assuming that all of these magicians have gone to the Bureau in some way, the same way that like Maria is and Dylan was, you know, like, oh, I'm retired from creature control or whatever. And they are like, okay, cool. Like they're not, you have to do something this like big and drastic for you to even be on their radar right now. Like in theory, they're coming for you, but like it's just theory because they do not know who you are. And the best thing to do is just hide in plain sight. So Amari has like this task really of saving these people from themselves.
It's so sad that they're kind of like, it's kind of like they understand that they need to be saved from themselves, and they're like, we need somebody who's from outside of here to do it for us, because we won't save ourselves. We need an outsider to do it for us. Thanks. Are they 13? Yeah. But are they an outsider? Even better. Like, that's what we care more
about. We're also going to make them feel like shit for being an outsider. How dare you not know how all this works?
But also, like, it's like they that's the thing about the outsiderness of it. It's like they don't even want to be saved. And the fact of the matter is they don't want to be saved because they built this world to be this way, for it works for them this way, and they don't like that she's making them consider, oh crap, civil rights. Oh, I should actually care about that. My bad. Yeah.
Oh, you mean there's like collateral damage for just going to war because we want to subjugate people? Because we're not oppressed in the way that like Amari is being oppressed, or like Yetis or other, you know what I mean? Like, or like Sasquatches or other like the actual supernatural creatures who cannot hide their supernatural ability. Like we talked about this so much in the last book about like the differences between Amari and Dylan, in terms of like visible
blend in.
Yeah, like you can blend in. So blend the fuck in and chill out.
But they don't want to.
Like they're not even like, I mean, like at least like God damn. Laura and Elsie are like going viral on the other net being like, these laws are wrong. They're not even like, how powerful would it be if Priyanka Kapoor...
It's Priya.
Why do I keep saying Priyanka?
Because Priyanka's the name of an actual actress. Yeah.
That's why. It would be different if Priya Kapoor was like, hey, member of the supernatural community here, these laws... Chill out. Don't like them. But they're not even actively... Either they're not actively members of the supernatural community, which I don't really understand how that works.
Right.
It probably does work.
Like how are you part of the supernatural community, but then you're saying you have different, like, are you dillinging, like where they tricked the...
That's what I was thinking, is that they all tricked the crystal ball into believing or giving them a different supernatural ability or hiding it, because like Dylan says that like, well, he says Maria taught him, but in reality Moreau probably taught him. But like that's what I assume, because how else would you be found?
How would you be a part of the supernatural world and aware of what's going on there if you elsewise, right? Because it's like either you're not part of the world and you just the world, or you just show up for the league stuff, or you're part of the world, but then what do people think you have?
Exactly.
The world, yeah.
So I mean, it brings up some questions, but like mostly it's like either way, you could hide, and like you're not even doing the bare minimum of like speaking out against these laws. You're going straight to like,
or whispering in people's ears.
Yeah, you're going to straight like, let's go to war. And so it's because
it's what they follow. Like it's that's what I think was weird too, because like there was part where like Priya was like, we don't want to be associated with the bad acts of the Knight brothers, but then they were also like, you're following the rules to the letter that Vladimir left. So
if you don't want to follow in the footsteps of the Knight brothers, then you have to do completely different. Change, like, why are you following his rules?
Like the war is straight out of their book. So what? Like, and they're not even here to lead it. So what are we doing?
You could just not.
You could not.
You could just not. Okay, so who's your real MVP and who is benched? Well, who's your real MVP for this chapter?
I MVP Jaden because I love like all this dramatics and like heaviness was broken by the cuteness crushing of like Jaden, and it was adorable. I really like, and Amari needed that moment. We needed that moment. It was everything. Um, I also kind of want an MVP. It's not really an MVP. It's really more just like a Shea lounge, a fainting couch, if you will, of sadness, and like just like wanting to hold the space and it be a comfort zone for Amari, because I feel like she needs it. Like she needs like not to be benched, but she needs her time to herself. Like she just needs, because she's not the problem. She just needs a moment to like to rejuvenate, revigorate, to just be on her own in a garden and like breathe a little. I need that for her. So if we could have a separate peaceful rest spot for Amari, I would give her that as well. What about you?
I also MVP Jaden. I had question marks around Maria. Every time I talk to you, I always feel bad about possibly. By the end of the recording, I'm like, am I tripping? But I did like in the earlier chapters, and even like again, I'm giving it. I liken it more to like Elsie being like, I'm gonna go stand up for Laura, and then just like not having the juice when she gets like when she's put in the position. Where like the intent is there, but the execution, but I do like that she, and this is taken at face value, and by the end of the book, it still feels as though Maria is not a bad guy, but Portia's in my head now, so I don't want to be like,
I distrust everyone. That's my disclaimer. So,
but I just don't want to be like, Maria is good, irrevocably good, but I like she's good so far. Throughout these 2 books, she's still on the right side. I think that, like I said, I think she was paternalistic in how she did it, but I like the impulse of being like, not just, you shouldn't have to deal with this, but like, give it to me because there's no, like, I don't even want you to be burdened with this. Like, you should be 13. You're already worried about your brother. Like, that, like, just on that alone and like what you went through last year, like anything above that is ridiculous for you to even be like contemplating. You should not have this stress. I will take it on. Don't even worry about it. Like, I like that impulse. And I can say as I've gotten older and I have younger cousins and nieces and nephews and things, like I do have that impulse of like, I want to keep you as, not keep you innocent, but like I want to protect that sense of
freedom.
Yeah, like freedom, and like there, like, you're always gonna take on more responsibility. The older you get, there's a little bit more responsibility, there's a little bit more and there's a little bit more stress too, but like we don't really get that much time
to be carefree,
or carefree, like, right. And like, and I think that like what Amari has on her plate right now that Maria knows that she cannot take away from her is already too much for your idealistic, like what a 13-year-old should be worrying about and like going through. And like, I can't fix Quentin. I can't make your home life like more like financially secure, but I can tell Cosmo to back the fuck off. You know what I mean?
But she didn't tell Cosmo to back off.
I know, but I like that's what I'm saying. That's why there's a question mark around her MVP, because I love the impulse. The execution was lacking.
We are actually, this is my last on Maria. But benched. Who did you bench?
I benched Cosmo. Part of me wants to also bench like the league in general, because why? You could, like, the more we talked, I'm like, you could just not. All of this is made up. And again, there are only 2 born magicians in that room. There are only 2 people who can't get away. Like, y'all signed up for this shit. You raised your hand. Someone said, hey, do you want to be a magician? It's completely illegal. And if you get found out, you'll probably end up in the sightless depths. And you can't tell anyone that you're a magician, and you can't really do that much magic you can't do any magic out in the open, and it's like going to be a large part of you that you have to hide forever, but you can do it. And they're like, yeah, that sounds fun. There's only 2 people who have no say in the magic, and now you're threatening them to take it away because you want them to take over this fake club that could just cease to exist. Y'all could just go your own separate ways. You do what you think is best, I do what I think is best, and we will all be individuals in charge of our own destiny. Instead, you're like, nah, let's let 13-year-olds figure it out. One of whom is already a murderer.
Sadly, this is like, it's this is where a song comes in my brain. Amari is Rihanna, and the song where she's like, I don't want to be a murderer. And that's like Dylan's like prepared to be a murderer, and she's like, I don't want to be. It's no. For me, it's also Cosmo. Like, for Cosmo, the fact that he's sitting back on his little stool. He's not even like, you're on a stool. My guy, you have nothing.
Bending the knee to a hologram.
And that makes you feel like you're the guy? Like, you feel empowered by the fact that you have access to all this stuff to bring it out and roll it out for the people who are watching in the stadium. So that's what makes you feel happy that day? Gross. And the fact that he has set Amari up at every stage of this rollout. Amari is in the deficit every single part of it. And at that point, like, I think that there's a level of disappointment that I have in him, because I was looking forward to, when I finished book 1, like, oh crap, like, now she has a legit connection to the community now. Yeah. So like, the idea of someone reaching out to her from the community was like a hopeful point for me, for him to be like this. So for him to set her up this way.
We really did end the first book being like, you were weird for just showing up on like the bench like that. Like, that was a little, but like, how exciting, right? She's gonna meet more magicians.
Like,
she's gonna
learn. A little odd, you know, like,
yeah,
like other little eccentric, you know,
he's
like,
a bit quirky, cute.
Yeah,
you know, but she'll whatever. But the whole world's opening up to her now. And then he was like, no, I'm worse than the last guy.
Yeah,
like, geez.
In fact, I've been working with him this whole time.
Yeah, this whole time.
So F Cosmo specifically, and then F the person that he was, I don't know, like, that he worshipped.
Blind. Yeah.
Vladimir. F Vladimir, because all of this is your fault. All of this arrangement, all of this setup is a bad plan from A to Z. Nothing actually is a good idea here. You've convinced multiple people over generations and centuries that your plans are good plans, even though they're awful plans. And whatever charisma or magic or whatever you put into that for people to be on board with you, yikes. Hate it for everyone involved, and benching Vladimir.
Yeah.
I think Luna agrees.
Luna's like, yeah, forget those Night Brothers.
She was like, if Vladimir set up to on my blog, let me tell you what I tell him.
She said, I'm gonna do just like Marie. I'm gonna talk big, and then I'm gonna go drink some water and play with my toy. All right. Well, thank you for listening. Join us next week when we discuss chapters 16 through 18. Also, make sure to let us know who you would bench and who your MVP is for this section of chapters.
Wizard Team is part of the Black Nerds Create Collective. If you want to keep up with our content, you can check out our website. You can check out our website at blacknerdscreate.com. Follow us on Instagram and Tumblr at Wizard Team Pod and at Black Nerds Create. Until next time, bye.
Bye.